So hi, it's Chuck from the Charlottetown Goodies Auto Body Auditors here to bring you the video I promised that I'd put together. I've tried this 4 or 5 times and have yet to really have good success, but I think I'm to the point now where I've got it down smooth enough that I won't confuse you, and I can help you to make your live stream using OBS Studio, which is an open source program that's available free of charge. The the only thing that you'll have to invest in this is the hardware, and as you'll see with my hardware, sometimes you have all the stuff right around. Maybe it's not one person has everything like me, but everybody has some cameras, phones, computers, whatever around their house. So if you put your heads together, you could probably do this on the pretty cheap end. If you want to improve your quality by buying new stuff, that's excellent. I wish we could afford to buy all new cameras and everything, but we've had to frugal it, and I think we've done pretty well with what we have. So I just wanted to start with a little introduction. The Of course, the New Brunswick Senior League last year had some live streams going. I watch a lot of them. I watch the Alpines live stream. I watch the Chatham live stream. If there's a live stream out there, I'll watch it. And as I continue on, if I create a situation where everybody has the opportunity to have a live stream at their field, I'll probably be watching a lot more live streams. I do love baseball, and I do love the New Brunswick Senior Baseball League. So it's a little bit selfish for me to teach you a little bit about what I know, so that everybody can have an inexpensive live stream, and we can bring the games to people who can't travel to the provinces to see the games, i.e., New Brunswick coming here and our fans going to your fields. Um, anyway, so this is OBS. I've took it upon myself to create a few logos. Put everybody's logos on. Sorry to the Mets. I still have the Fisher Cats logo there, but that's what I had at my disposal. So that's what I put on the live stream. Uh, anyway, so I'm going to show you the hardware first. For that, I'm just going to take this camera that I've learned to set up a wireless camera using a pretty inexpensive. Whoops, that's upside down. Using a pretty inexpensive software, and it was, I think, $15 or something like that for a lifetime subscription. But anyway, this takes my Android phone and turns it into a camera. But for my purposes, I just want to be able to show you what I use. Um, the computer I use is a Dell. It's not an expensive computer necessarily, or at least it wouldn't be if I bought it today. I think it was about $800 when I bought it, but that was 3.5, almost 4 years ago. So at this point, you could buy something like this for near about $500. The most important thing would be to have the RAM. I'll let the camera focus a bit. To have the RAM at 8 gigabytes minimum. More is better. I think I would like to have more for some of the plans I have for this year. But in the event that I don't have the money to upgrade that, or we don't find another computer that might be in the family, we may have to stick with what we have. But anyway, the more the better. But you don't have to go out and buy new. Just talk amongst yourselves and see who's got something that they can bring to the field on Sundays. Same with the cameras. The cameras I used last year, there's a Canon SLR camera, and it has your optical zoom, so that you can get a real good picture for the pitcher and catcher, and then just an iPhone that I use for the whole field. And so, you know, during the playoffs, the two camera angles were just basically those two cameras and switching back and forth between them as I deem necessary. Um, they both connect by USB cords. That's where the Canon plugs in, and I have the iPhone coming around the other side here, just into the USB ports. We also have a microphone. The one I've been using is the Blue Yeti. It's a very expensive mic, but it's not really meant for what we're doing. It's meant for live streaming, you know, like a podcast or whatever. But a shotgun mic is really what you want, and I might be looking into an inexpensive shotgun mic, at least to test it and see if it produces anything better. With this wireless camera now, I have the possibility that I might be able to put cameras at the backstop. So I'm thinking of maybe adding two more cameras again, if the live stream can support it and the hardware can support it. And so I've added a antenna router to the to my live stream, so that, you know, I can pick the cameras up that are attached to the back of the backstop from the upstairs. So that's a maybe. I'm excited to give it a try, but and I've tried it around my house, but really I'll have to do it in in the real world before I can be sure. So, you know, any tripod, this I had myself. The camera I had myself. The iPhone is my son's. It actually has a broken back. So it was, you know, he didn't want it anymore. So it's an iPhone X. Hooked it up, did a little magic, and we're in. And yeah, so really the team didn't spend very much other than the little. Oops. Where are we at here? So this little addition that attaches to the camera so that it can hold the phone, and they both aim in the same direction. So that, you know, that was $20, and that's what the team paid. Again, that had it, uh, bought it, but need it myself. You know, it's all it's all stuff that you or someone in your organization may have around. Uh, Anyway, so once you've got everything hooked up, you do have to enter information onto this, and we're going to do that shortly. If you see here the wireless camera that I'm using, I can hide that by simply changing this I to I with a slash. So it just hides it. Show, hide. And if I put the camera down in the list, so let's say to the very bottom, then when I show the camera, it will show, but everything above it will show on top. So this is how we layer the scoreboard and how we layer our sponsors and whatever else we might want to add over top of the cameras. So on top shows only what's above it. Whoops, sorry. Or if it's right at the top, it shows nothing. If it's right at the bottom, it shows everything that's above it. It's a little bit tricky. But once you get it set up, you leave it there. When you don't want to see the wireless camera, you just hide it. When you have a layer, like when everything matches, so everything, like here I'm showing you the logos, I can take those, and using the mouse, I click on the bottom logo that I want to include and the top logo, and hold down the shift key, and it selects them all. Or I can select individual one by holding the control key down and selecting each individual one until I make them all blue. And then I right click and I group them, and I call this group the logo group. I like to use GRP just to keep it tidy. And then whether I'm closed and I only have the group showing, or whether I'm open and I have all the logos showing, all I have to do is hide this level and it all goes away. And it comes back. But once I have something that's at a level, I just put them all together and I collapse it like that. And so now it's off, on, off, camera on. There's the camera. And then logos on over top and off and off. Okay. So that's the hardware. Basically just mostly stuff I have around the house. You know, like I'm a computer guy, so I have a lot of that sort of thing. You can figure out what you have and what maybe volunteers or team members have, and put together the best thing. If you do have the money for it and you go out and buy new cameras, you're certainly going to have a leg up, but you don't have to, at least not to get started anyway. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to have to do this in a few videos because there's a lot of difference, but this is just to create the live stream itself. So you can see over here I have the introduction, which I just used with the camera and the logos. And I've also got a scene named NBSBL Live, which is empty. So there's nothing in it. Okay, so we're going to start from scratch. So the first thing we have to do is add a microphone for the field sound. Again, I mentioned the shotgun microphone, even an inexpensive one, $50, $60, maybe $100 would be okay. They go up to a lot of money, but shotgun mic will go towards the field, and that's where it'll get the sound from. Whereas my mic is sort of like, it goes like this, so you pick up a lot of fan noise and stuff. A shotgun mic should give you mostly field noise and the odd bit of fan noise too, but that's what you want. So it's an input capture. So I just say plus at the bottom. Audio input capture. And I'm just going to call it Yeti. That's the kind of microphone it is, but you could call it mic or microphone. It doesn't matter. It's all good. I'm used to using Yeti, so I'm going to use Yeti. Click OK, and then it brings up the device, and so I can choose my microphone in my laptop, or microphone from a software package that I have, or the Yeti stereo microphone, which is what I want to use. So I click that, click OK, and now I have a microphone. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that the Yeti is showing, and there's a green line, and it's showing that it's hearing my voice and giving you like an audio rating. What you don't want is you don't want to have it go into the red a lot because it will ruin the noise. You want it to stay in the green and maybe top out in the yellow. So at the volume I'm speaking right now, it's fine, but I normally try to keep it around, around the green whenever I'm talking at a normal, because I may raise my voice or whatever, or there may be a loud noise coming from the stands, and you don't want to scare anybody. But it's simply just drag that until you like it. And if you want to mute the sound, you just click on that, and I'm still talking and you don't hear me, and now I'm talking again and you do hear me. And so it's as simple as that to mute. You can also set a key on the keyboard to do mute. We will go through that a little bit later, but it's just a matter of hiding the microphone or even muting. Mute, sound, mute, 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 sound, sound, sound. So that's it's that simple. Your microphone, your sound is set up. Nothing more to do, other than to mute it whenever there's copyrighted music when you're live streaming, because as you know, we get shut down quite a bit. But that's for me forgetting, and if you're very attentive, that won't happen to you as much. So then we need our two cameras. As I mentioned, there's a Canon SL1 camera. It is considered a video capture device because the computer recognizes it as a camera. It's a computer connectable camera, kind of like my built-in camera that you're seeing my picture on. So when I do a video capture device, I come up and I call this one the picture catcher. Because it has an optical zoom, I can focus that right into the pitcher and the catcher and really get a good picture of that, because we have a great pitching league and a lot of the game happens right at the plate. So and that if you do the stats, because you're normally reporting 27 to 32 batters every night, which means a lot of them started and maybe stopped at the plate. Anyway, it's a credit to the league and the pitching in the league. So I set that as my first camera, and that is going to be focused in on the pitcher and catcher. So that's the one I want to send is my Canon. It's an EOS SL1. So this EOS webcam utility I downloaded from the internet in order to use this 10-year-old SLR camera. If you have a single lens reflex camera that's brand new, it will probably connect automatically. Like they're much smarter now than they were when I bought this when my young fellow was in his teens. So I can do other things with this. I can select to change the resolution, but this camera is really not made to do 720p, which is what this is. If you look at it, there's a black area there, and that's because it's only a standard definition camera. So I just leave it at default. It gives you the best quality that the camera has, and then you can work with it from there, as you'll see here shortly. I'll work with this. So I click OK. The pitcher catcher shows over here in the sources. I can hide it or show it, but I don't want it to be in the center like this and to have black all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I can either drag this and make it bigger until it fills the whole screen, or I'm not even going to, that's a lot of work. Or what I can do is I can start here, hold my Alt key down, and drag this until it covers just the viewable area. That's called cropping. So hold the Alt key and bring these green lines so that they only show the camera. Or sorry, not the camera, but the pitcher. Okay. And so now I make it fit the screen. Right? And it's still there. So what I do is I actually crop, either the bottom or the top or both until it's the right squareness. See, and now I can have it cover the screen. So wherever it suits me. And again, I can use the Alt key and bring this right down so that it covers just the screen. But the most important thing is that your whole screen is covered and you're not dealing with, you're not able to see what's outside the screen, so you just want what's there. Now with this camera, it has a zoom lens that you can turn back and forth. So what you want to do is you want to zoom in, as far as you can. And if you have autofocus on, you're going to run into all sorts of things with the fence and with people walking by and things like that. So what I usually use is the the manual focus, and I just focus in on the pitcher or the catcher or whoever I can get a hold of. You can see I'm on my Apex Auto sign there. So if I'm focused in on the Apex Auto sign pretty good, I'm going to be focused pretty good on the pitcher and catcher, right? And I can zoom in or zoom out. However, I want to make sure I've got everything I want in the picture, and I want to be as close as I can be. So that's one camera setup. So now we're going to set up the field camera. Now the field camera is a little different because it's an iPhone, so it needs a little help to connect. It's not really what you'd call a video capture device. You can buy software, costs money to do it, but there is a service available on the internet that I started using last year, and I find it to be fabulous, so I continue to use it. So I'm going to start my browser, and I'm going to go into what's called video.ninja. So it's just a website that will allow you to connect your camera to your computer. You use this create reusable invite. So I click on that. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call this field cam because that's the camera that I show the big picture of the field. And I'm going to send it to be either high quality or balanced. Doesn't matter which one you choose, but I always choose the highest quality because this is the quality it's going to be on the internet. I can control everything else inside of OBS once I'm retrieving it. So what this is actually going to do is take the picture that's on your camera and give you that picture on the computer. So it's going from your camera to this website, from this website to OBS, and then showing as a camera. Very, very neat little trick. So what I do is I say, give it a name, high quality, generate the link. So now I have to take my camera, which is connected to my computer, and I'm actually going to take a picture with the camera of this screen. So camera, picture, it generates a link on the phone. I click on the link and it goes to, what's it say? Share your camera. Ask me to say allow, and I do, for privacy, of course. And then I click start. And once I click start, I don't know if you can see that, but I have the video of the camera. Now I'm going to put it back up here. There we go. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this browser link. So I click and you'll see it says copied to clipboard. And I'm going to open OBS and I'm going to add a browser link. Okay, so this is just a different way of containing, no cost to you. The Droid Cam OBS that's showing here is that wireless camera that was a cost to me, but I think it's going to be helpful, so I'm going to try that this year. And like I say, it only cost me $15, maybe something like that. But we're going to go into a browser, and we're going to call this the field cam. And say okay, and then it's going to give us a place to paste. Control V will paste exactly what we copied from this pink box here. And then we're going to set it to 1280 by 720, which is the equivalent to 720p. We don't need it to be any better than that because nobody's going to view it at any better than that. But again, once we get into Facebook or whatever, it's going to reduce the size of the video, but we're going to keep the video at a standard quality until we hand it over to them. So I'm just going to say okay. And now what's happening in that camera is now showing on this screen. So it is a HD camera, an iPhone is, or an Android phone, current one. So it fits perfectly. We don't have to do that monkeying around like we have to do with my old standard definition camera. So that's it. So we have two cameras. What I usually do is I have the picture as the primary camera. Oops. And then I hide it when I want to see the field. So pitch 1, pitch 2, pitch 3, bunt, field cam, right? And then the ball gets thrown around and gets back to the pitcher, and I bring the pitcher catcher back up. So I'm really just doing that. The other thing I started to do during the playoffs, which was very helpful, and I will show you that now because it is very helpful. In the settings of OBS, which is down here in the right corner, there's hotkeys. And I didn't use a lot of hotkeys. Experimented with muting the sound hotkeys, and it just got confusing. But this one really helped, and that was to select the cameras. So we're doing NBSBL live over here on the left. So we're going to find that right here, and then it says show pitcher catcher. What I was using was the up arrow on my keyboard. And to hide it, I use the down arrow on the keyboard. And then conversely, in order to show the field cam, I use the down arrow. And to hide the field cam, I use the up arrow. So basically, up would show the pitcher camera and hide the field camera, and down would show the field camera and hide the pitcher camera. And that's all I was doing, was just pressing up, down, up, down, up, down. And that was excellent. It does say there's duplicates here. That doesn't matter. We want there to be duplicates. We want one to hide and one to show. And I'll just show you here how easy it is now for me to switch between those. Apply, okay. So now pitcher camera, field camera, pitcher camera, field camera, pitcher camera, field camera. You get the message. To me, the one thing that I found over time that just it helped me immensely, because I didn't have to think about which one do I get on? Oh no, I turned them both off. When I pitcher, catcher, or pitcher field, pitcher field, pitcher field, pitcher field, it's excellent. So anyway, we want those cameras at the bottom, because everything we put above it is going to show, which leads me to the next thing we're going to put in, which is the camera. So in order to download the camera, I guess I should show you the OBS too. This is where you download the OBS, and you just download it. I use it for Windows, and as far as I know, it's the best one on the market for Windows. It's free of charge. But the other thing you're going to need is the scoreboard. So this free PED scoreboard, they're both open source software, so they're free to everyone, free to use, free to, you can even get involved and work on changing it to make it better or whatever. I'm not that smart, so I just use it. But yeah, so you could download that, and I already have downloaded that. So here's the scoreboard as it is. We have complete control over, we can see the Alpines and Islanders are tied at 5 here in the middle of the 9th. I can change that to the Royals, and it changes to the Royals, and then I can change the color to royal blue. And it will change the color there. You know, you can we can change the home team to be the Mets, and we can change the the color of the home team to be dark orange. And so that's, you know, I have it set up for each game, and it's just as simple as typing it into there, and whatever you type in here shows here, and whatever color you type in here shows there. I don't mess with this stats color. I like the way everything is here. But if you do change this, say, to green, the background will change to green. Again, I like black. Of course, if you make it white, that's not good. So I like black. But you can experiment with that if you like, and see if there's something that suits you better once you get your colors into there. Okay, so once we've opened the scoreboard, we need it on the screen in order to capture it. So we're going to go back to OBS, and we're going to do another add. And this time we're going to add a window capture. So this is like a screen capture. So when we add a window capture, we're going to call this scoreboard. And we're going to click OK. And what it's usually going to do is going to come up and show you the last window that you are focused on, right? So it might come up and show you this one, which is not what we want on the scoreboard, right? So you can just select one of the other. No, that's not it either. Scoreboard. Yeah, that's what we want on our scoreboard. So you don't have to play with any of the things. You're welcome to go in and try that to see if it works better for you, but I like to keep it simple. So I just click OK. And now we have the scoreboard here. Okay. I can move it. It can be anywhere, bottom, top, left, right. I like to keep it somewhere around 40 pixels. This is the 40 from the top of the screen. And I like to keep it there because sometimes when you cast to Facebook or whatever, it will cut off a little bit of the screen. So we don't want to cut off any of the scoreboard. 30, 40 pixels seems to do that fine. And I can increase it in size by just clicking and holding and dragging the mouse to whatever size I see fit. I like a big scoreboard. If you don't like a big scoreboard, make it smaller. And you know, if you come up with something and it looks better, I'm probably going to copy it. So feel free to do that. But I don't stop there with the scoreboard. I like to personalize it a little bit, and it's really simple to do. Last year I had the New Brunswick Senior Baseball League logo and the CABC logo on the scoreboard. So I'm going to add those now. So I just click on the plus button and the sources at the bottom. And I'm going to add two images. One is going to be the CABC logo. And I'm going to, this might take me a bit to find it. If I'm lucky, it'll go right to the right. No, I don't think so. No. Okay, so let's go back here. Yeah, there we go. So there's the CABC logo. So I'm going to add that. And I'm not going to bother formatting that yet. I'm just going to add another image. And this one hopefully will be in the same directory. NBSBL logo. And you can't duplicate names, just so you know. So it may come up and say, you know, you've already used that name. You'll have to add a 1 at the end or something like that. Oh, look at that. There it is. So I probably was using it over here in the introduction. So let's go just NBSBL logo 1. And so we find that file. There it is. Not the greatest logo, but I got it right off the website, and it just is made to be a different size, so it doesn't look exactly perfect. So what I did last year, I sort of sized the scoreboard so that it met the CABC sizing. Oops. Okay, and then I increased the New Brunswick one until it met. But I can also, focus on the New Brunswick one and say, well, that's really the best size for that. So I'm going to shrink the scoreboard and make it meet the size of the New Brunswick League. And then I'm going to make this also come down and be the same size. Just anyway, you can see that it's not rocket science, but it does take a little bit of monkeying before you eventually get your, everything looking the way you want it. And I might be a little bit more particular than some people. That doesn't mean that you can't, oops, got the wrong thing there. Control Z will undo what you just did if you did something you didn't want to do. So I'm just going to select the CABC logo, and I can drag this, so that it's over top of that, the scoreboard, if I want, if I want it to look like that. Or I can, anywhere in between. I'm usually fine with that. Now I want this whole thing to be centered. And so I need to make these into one graphic. So I do that down here. I select the New Brunswick Senior League. I hold my control key down and I select the CABC logo and the scoreboard. Okay, so that's everything that's at the top. And I right click on those 3 blue lines and I say group. And I group them as scoreboard GRP group. That's how I like to put it. You can name it anything. You can put it scoreboard or whatever. You can't use the same name though. So the group makes scoreboard down here different than scoreboard group up here. If I called it just scoreboard, it would tell me I already have that name. So scoreboard group is good. So now those are all part of this, and I can close this and hide and show everything at once. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to move everything at once. So if you see here, it says 341 pixels, and here it says 363. I can drag it over until I can either use my eye or I can use those. So there's 353 and 351. So that's basically centered. And I can already see now that, in the event that this was for real, I probably would want that CABC to cover some of this because that looks kind of odd, right? But if you have a longer name, it's not going to be there. So generally, if you do want to move something, don't leave it in the group. Drag it outside the group. Move it. Drag it back inside the group. And then click on the group and move the group. 413, 412. Okay, 41 pixels at the top, so I'm still not violating my encroaching on the outside. Okay, so that's the scoreboard done. And that's it. You never have to touch that scoreboard again because you're going to change the scoreboard using this piece here, which you're going to keep probably somewhere around here on your screen, right? Because you're going to be seeing this while you're live streaming and operating the windows through here. So anyway, what I normally do with stuff like that I want to stay together, I collapse to show the group, hide all the information in it, and I click lock, and this stops me from accidentally changing something in this scoreboard. It's locked, it can't be changed, but it still can be hidden and shown. Okay. Now, one thing you want to watch out with this, and I did it in one of the trial videos that I did. This has to be showing on the screen. It doesn't have to be showing up front, but it has to be showing on the screen in order for it to be captured, to be shown here. So if you click this little minimize button, which I do all the time because you're used to doing that, it will disappear off here because it's no longer on the screen. It's now down here in your taskbar, right? So if that happens, you just bring it back up on the screen and then bring your OBS screen in front of it, and then bring your scoreboard entry. So I'm just going to go back and inning here. So we're in the top of the ninth. It's 5-5, Royals and Mets. She's a humdinger. Ball one, strike one, strike two, ball two. If it's a single, I just reset the count, which brings 2 and 2 to 0 and 0. And I put them on first base. If I go through 4 balls, it will automatically put a runner on first and move the other runners ahead. If I do 3 strikes, it will count it out automatically and then reset for the next batter, and it won't show anybody. If on ball 1 for the next batter, it's now 1-0, we have a double steal. I can just click over here on the scoreboard piece, third, and then remove the guy from first. And now we've got second and third because there was a double steal, right? So everything is done here on this scoreboard operations area, and it changes on here. And as long as you don't minimize that piece, it will be captured and placed on here on the screen. Okay. So the other things that we did last year was we put sponsors on the screen. Very simple to do. It's important to have all the sponsor logos to be about the same size, same shape, very close to the same size, if not the same size. Same shape. Looks best if you've got like a white background, but we don't have them all on white backgrounds. But I do my best to make them uniform, and you'll see what I mean here when we put them on. So I'm going to add another source, and this source is going to be an image slideshow. So it's just going to do a slideshow between the images. I'm going to call this one Major Sponsors. And we just have a few of those. So I'm going to click OK. And you'll see here the time between slide is 8 seconds. For our major sponsors, I usually put that up around 25,000 milliseconds or 25 seconds, because we don't want that, rotating. We only have 4 different logos in that folder, so we want it to be longer between. And it, we could make it, how long is an inning? We could make it, if an inning is half inning, maybe 6 minutes, we could divide that by 3 and and that could be it. But I usually put it at 20 seconds 25 seconds, sorry, you can set it wherever you want. And then for the image files, I can either add files or a directory. Now I have them all in directories. So I add the directory, and it is called title sponsors. So I click on title sponsors, select folders, and now I'm rotating through our title sponsors. Goodies Auto Body, Chucky Sports, and then our own logo. You know, we always hope to add more to that, and we probably will this year, but you know, the big sponsors, we want them highlighted. The gold, we want them highlighted. The silver, the bronze, you know, we want them all highlighted, but you know, the more money, the more highlight we want them to see. So I click OK. Everything that you do comes up in this corner to start. Just bring it down, and like I say, somewhere around 30 pixels. And I'm doing that by dragging it with the mouse held down, but you can also use the arrow keys and get it right to 30 or 40 or whatever you want to do. Again, this is what I did. I can make it smaller or bigger. Again, depending on what you want to do, you'll make it the size that it fits for you. So then on the other side, we'd always do the exact same thing. We're adding an image slideshow. This time is going to be all sponsors. And we want them to rotate a little quicker. I think I left them at the default last year, 8 seconds for each logo. And, you know, like, you don't see every logo every inning, but you'll just keep seeing every 8 seconds, you'll see a new logo. And it works good. This transition speed changes, like it's this one, and then it's this one, and that's how fast they sort of superimpose themselves. This 700 milliseconds is a default for a reason. It looks really good, and it's not very long. But you can experiment with it if you want. Just change it to, you know, higher will be longer change, and shorter. Like if you change it to 100, which is like 0.1 of a second, pretty quick. You're doing the exact same thing. We're going to be changing between logos. And the directory we're going to add here, in my case, is the image show. That's everybody. Like I have bronze separated and silver separated and title and gold separated, but this is everybody. And I select the folder. And now when I drag this down into this corner, and I get it set up so that it's, whoops, so that it's in the 30. I don't know. The other thing you can do is just sort of drag it over here, put it over top, and get it to be the same size as that one, right? And then drag it back. Just helpful to get it close, and like, you know, that looks a little weird to me, so I might make this just a little smaller. Again, these are all sponsors and the others are keyed sponsors, so it's not bad that it's a little bigger and a little more noticeable. But if you see here, it's when the 25 seconds hits, it's going to change slowly from one to the other. Of course, we got to wait 25 seconds, don't we? See? Now, if you look at the other side, every 8 seconds, it's just bang, 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 bang. They change. So the 700 to me is just sort of a natural thing. So if I right click on all sponsors and go back into the properties, I just take that transition speed that I reduced and I put it back up to 700, which was the default, and it just slowly comes in and comes out. Again, I'm not restricted to what size. I can do it by pixels. I can do it by my eye. You know, one can be bigger, one can be smaller. You know, just once you get it set, that's it. You're good, and it's there all the time. So the other thing we included was our website, and we just did that by adding text. You could add a graphic with your website on it, an image, but we chose to just use the strict text. So this is the website, and it doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it website, you can call it site, you can call it URL, no problems. You click OK, and just in here you type http://goodiesislanders.com. You know, I can put www. Either one will, you know, they're not going to be able to click on this necessarily, but they're going to be able to read it and type it in. So goodiesislanders.com, www.goodiesislanders.com all goes the same way. And I can't rightly remember now which way we put it last year, but let's go with that for now. So here we have the website, and what we can do is we can select a font. So we could change it to Times New Roman and maybe like 48 point or something like that. And I'm just wondering if my color is good. I think it's white. Yeah. So it's up in this top corner, like I said. Couldn't find it there for a second. So I can put it wherever. Make it bigger, smaller. I'm going to leave it small here because I still have a couple more things that I want to put on. So the other thing that we started to do later on in the year was we showed the batter and the pitcher. And that requires a little more commitment than just the live stream, because we use Game Changer at the field. We also have an official scorer with a scorebook and everything, but the team does Game Changer so that I have that for stats and spray charts and things like that through the years. So if you are using Game Changer at the field, then you may be interested in putting this into effect, but I'm just going to show you how I do it. So this is another download. This MEMU is an emulator for an Android phone that can be run right on your computer. So I have it loaded already, but you can download it here if you want to try this. Basically what you do is you open this emulator, and it just looks like you have a tablet or a cell phone on your computer, and you can run the same Game Changer software that is run on your Android phone or your iPad or iPhone right here on the computer. And just like the scoreboard, when we captured this part of the scoreboard to put on, we're going to capture this part of this emulator screen, and we're going to put it on the live stream, showing the batter and the pitcher. You'll see what I do here in a second when it gets going. So it just looks like your iPhone, or not iPhone, sorry, this is an Android version. So I open Game Changer. I happen to have this set up for my own account, so it goes automatically into my Islanders account. And for testing purposes, I've been using an old game. It wasn't even a real game, but an old game from a couple of years ago that just helped me to not have to mess anything up in my more current years. And some of my testing that I've been doing with other stuff. So that's the one that I created, or actually I think this might have been maybe a default game that the Royals won 7-0 because we couldn't field a team, or vice versa. I can't even remember. I know I have Islanders there 7-0, but I'm pretty sure it actually went the other way around. And maybe not. So anyway, this is what we're capturing, is the pitching and catching. And as the person at the bench, adds a batter, changes a batter, moves on to the next batter, it's going to change, but everything's going to show on our OBS. So same thing as the scoreboard. I'm going to click plus and window capture, and I'm going to call this batter. And I'm going to just this is what I want, right? That screen. I could be the scoreboard or, whatever, but that's the one that I want. So I click OK. I hold my Alt key down, and this crops it. And my Alt key down and crops it. My Alt key down and crops it. My Alt key down, crops it. If I don't put my Alt key down, it's going to make it bigger or smaller. So I'm holding the Alt key in order to crop the picture to make it smaller. So I'm going to put batting over here on the right. And I believe what this is actually, this is the home team on the right versus the visiting team on the left. And the pitcher and batter are going to switch back and forth, but we're not going to have to deal with that. That's going to be the game changer software that's going to do all that for us. So basically, I'm just going to do the exact same thing again, but this time I'm going to put the pitcher and the same window comes up, but this time I hold my Alt key down and we're going to crop to the pitching box. Again, holding the Alt key down. And, we want those to be basically the same. So first I'll make them a little bit bigger. Oops. I can either click on them here, or I could go back here and click on them too, over on the sources side. Sometimes it'll be easier. But you can always get to it, I guess, is the point. So I think that's probably pretty close. See, I can bring one over to the other and say, okay, I can actually hold the Alt key down and crop that so that it matches. And well, that's pretty close, eh? Okay. So I'm going to say that's good enough, but you can, you can make as much effort as you want to make those the same. But the one thing you are going to want to do is, well, like maybe you're not going to want to do it, but I wanted to do it. This one's in blue and this one's in black, and it's just because that's how it shows over here. But I wanted them both to be black. So what I did, again, you can do it if you like. You hold or click on pitcher, hold the control key down, click on batter, and that selects both of them. Right click, and again, we create a group. And the group is going to be called batter, pitcher. Again, doesn't matter what it's called. And I put GRP so that I know it's a group. And now you can see these two are part of this group. I can hide one, or I can hide the other. Whoops, not that one. I can hide the other, or I can hide them both at the same time using the group. But the reason why I want them here is I'm actually going to do something that I don't do very much of, but this is one place that I found it useful. It's called a filter, and you can filter sound, you can filter graphics, you can filter video, you can filter anything. But the one thing about this is I can correct the color a little bit so that it looks similar on both sides. So I'm just going to add a filter, and the filter is called color correction. And I can see both of these. I just want to adjust whatever one I need to adjust in order to get black to look like to get them both to look black. That's basically it. And I think that's probably it. Yeah, maybe. So once you get them looking good, you just list okay. So we're just watching here. That's now black and that's black. And there's no difference to either side. I click close, and now they're there. Black, black, whatever. Again, I would work harder to get that perfect, but for now that's great. Now, if I have no reason to hide, you know, these two things separately, which I do, because if it freezes up, or if your game changer guy gets caught behind or whatever, you may just have to delete those and continue with the game right until he catches back up. But if I didn't have that ability, I could now move other things into that group. But when I do, it's going to do that same filter to it. And in the case of my website, it made a delete. So I have to pull that back out, and there it is. So that everything inside of that folder is going to be filtered. So you want to keep just the ones you want the filter to be to correct the colors for. So that's pretty much it. Now, in between innings, we did sort of something like this last year, and that can be done again the same way as it's done before. But this year, we're thinking that we might do like a loaded, gold, silver, bronze, gold, so like so that the gold will be shown more often than the other. So each inning changing whether it's gold, silver, or bronze. So I'm just going to show you how we did that. It's a duplicate of what we did before, but we create the image slideshow. I had to create new folders for gold, silver, and bronze. So this one, let's just say gold. We'll not do them all. Sponsors. And then so we go down. Again, we want to do this pretty quick, right? Because we want a lot of people to be shown. Again, you can try it. I'm going to say 5 seconds. No, I'm going to say 3 seconds. But you can look at whatever the result is and decide if you want it to be shorter or longer. So now I'm going to add a directory. And this is in a new folder, so it's going to take me a second to... Where is it? Okay, here it is. So we got title and gold. So I actually put our title sponsors in with the gold so that they'd get the most showing. So that'll be that. Of course, I could do the same thing with the silver, or I could do the same thing with the bronze. And actually, I think I'll do two of them. So here's the title in gold. Basically the same thing that you saw here in the corner, but I'm going to make it fill the full screen because we're between innings. So we're just going to roll that, and people are going to see our gold sponsors, maybe 3 times during the game. Now, the reason why I say I'll try a second one is because I have my gold sponsors here, but I can do the exact same thing and say silver sponsors. Whoops. And I'm gonna, I don't know, let's go 2 seconds for those. Sometimes you might have more silver sponsors or whatever. Oh, well, you have to add the folder, Chuck. So roll down here, add directory, silver, select folder. Okay. We always want to make sure that, silver is smaller than gold. Again, just adding value. But what we're also going to do over here, and this is why I put the second one up, whether we decide to group these, right? Control, gold, both blue, group as inning sponsor, this group. Okay, like if we decide to group those, what we want to do is we want to make sure the gold one is above the silver one and the bronze below that, because if we forget and we have them both on, we're seeing gold. The only time we'll see silver is when we hide the gold, right? So it's on top of everything. So like we did with our picture camera being on top, I'm going to spend most of my time as a pitcher or watching the pitcher and catcher. So I want that to be first. So if I forget to turn that camera off, I've got the pitcher and catcher. And then when the ball's out in the field and I'm still looking at the pitcher catcher, well, I'll know, oh, I better get to the field. So we're going to, if we err, we're going to err that the gold sponsor is going to be the one that shows up. We don't have to group it, but again, if you're going to do silver sponsors next inning, you can hide everything, set it to silver sponsors, close that, and then when you say show inning sponsorship group, it's going to go right to what you had last selected. So again, it's just something you can do to neaten it up, make it easier. Again, this one doesn't need to be there, because you're not going to be messing with those, so you can close them up and they're just happily going on and doing their thing there without you getting involved at all. Now, I'm going to quickly go over a couple things I'm going to try this year. Didn't try it before, but we have a couple of sponsors that have little 30-second commercials that they use on the internet. So I can actually put a media source, like a video source there. So I'm going to call this KISS because it's actually a video from a KISS concert. And I browse for a local file. This happens to be a video file. And I'm not exactly sure where this one is, but we're going to find it anyway. Oh, it'll be in the videos. Oh yeah, there it is. So now I'm just adding that video file. Um, it's right there. So we don't need it showing, necessarily automatically, but when we say we're not doing an inning is over, I can show this video at whatever size I want. Like it could be like a sponsor video commercial. And every time you show it, it returns to the start. So, like, let's say you have a new sponsor this year, and I know some of you do, major sponsors, and they say, like we have a little 30-second commercial, you can put it there, and every time you hide it and show it again, it will restart. So you'll get the first of the commercial, and that will show on your screen. So that's something that for this year we're going to do. We're probably going to pilot that with Red Island Realty because we have a very, very good relationship with them. And I don't think Goodies really has anything. Maybe Chucky's does. We'll see. But that's another possibility that we might actually go into a video commercial kind of thing between innings. And it's very easy to do, any size, any whatever. So anyway, I think that's really all I want to show you there. There's a little more to this, but I think that's a good start. And maybe over time I'll run another video or two. One thing I will do in a separate video is starting the scream and whatnot. That's a little complicated, and after a long video, I don't think you want to continue to watch that today anyway. So the hardware and using OBS is good for today. I would like to remind you that I'll post this on YouTube, but I'll also post these places to download OBS and the PED scoreboard and the emulator. I can even put Droid Cam OBS in case you're interested in using wireless cameras. $15 for a lifetime is not very much money. There's one for iOS and it's I think it's $12 or $14 a month, which would be great, but I'm not sure we're going to do that. The Video Ninja, Video Ninja, where we hooked up that camera. So I'll have all those links in the description, and you'll be able to download the software, get it set up, maybe try going through the video and putting something, and then you can respond to me if there's anything you want me to go over more. But rest assured that the next video is going to be, we're going to put this live stream that we just created. We're going to put that live on Facebook and on YouTube. Facebook is talking about limiting live streams, so we are thinking we may have to go, or I'm thinking, I guess, that we may have to go to YouTube. But we certainly love Facebook, and as long as it will allow us, that's where we'll stay. But you may find that this year there'll be limitations to Facebook. Yeah. Anyway, this is the final concert, by the way, from New York City. I got it on pay-per-view, so I'm a big Kiss fan from the old days, as some of you might know. Uh, just play a Kiss song at the park and you'll see. Anyway, so but the next video, like I say, we are going to put it online with these controls over in the right hand corner, and that video will come the next time I have 20 or 30 minutes to put something together. Anyway, I hope this was informative. I hope I didn't skip too much. I hope I didn't go too far into things. It is the second or third time I've done this, and there always seems to be a problem with it. but I'm hoping that this one I've got them all licked. So anyway, let me know if there's anything you want me to go over more. And when you go to make your live stream, if you feel you're comfortable doing it, that's great. If you need some more help, just reach out. We will find a way to get you where you need to be between us, because like I say, the number one reason why I do this is because I think the live stream is the greatest thing for the league, and for our team and for our sponsorships and our money. Yes, I understand there's a a cost to people not coming to the field or whatever, and we'll all have to weigh that over. But you guys all know we don't charge at the field, so we can do nothing but benefit from this. So, but anyway, like I say, reach out, and hopefully we'll be able to get you all at the level you want to be whenever you whenever you whenever you put your live stream up next season. All right, so thanks very much. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll go to live stream. Thanks.